The Acer and Ryzen have teamed up for the Acer Nitro 5 with a Ryzen 5 4600H, and I've run it through a variety of benchmark tests, including photo editing, After Effects, video editing, 3D modeling, and more.
Let's get rockin'!
If you're new to the channel, my name is Benji Kaiser. This is where you're going to find the best tech and tools for creative professionals. If that sounds like your kind of place, consider subscribing and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Also, if you're curious about the exact pricing or availability of the Acer Nitro 5, as we're heading through the video, you can head down in the description below and click that link. Now, if you do make a purchase through that link, I will get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you, and that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. As we always do on this channel, let's kick things off with the build quality, and then later in the video, we will do a deep dive into the benchmark test results, thermal component usage, and noise test as well. Weighing in at 5.51 pounds and at a thickness of 0.94 inches, this laptop is able to fit in your standard laptop backpack, making this the perfect budget performance laptop we've all been waiting for. This is an all-plastic build with tightly finished edges and sturdy materials. All the components are secured to the chassis in a way that instills confidence in the longevity of the Acer Nitro 5. I would not recommend going out and doing a drop test just for funsies, as it is still a mere plastic build, but overall, the build quality feels good. I will point out, however, that the top bezel of the laptop is a little sharp. I would have preferred them to smooth out that edge, similar to the other corners on this laptop, but overall, it is not a deal breaker. This laptop is well ventilated, featuring a large vent on the bottom cover, back panel, and side panels of the laptop. These vents, along with Acer's Nitro Sense and Cool Boost, do a great job of keeping this laptop cool under heavy workloads. As you can see, the Acer Nitro 5 remains cool during the 4K export test, and stay tuned to how fast it was able to export that 9-minute 4K clip later in the video. Moving on to the ports, this laptop comes with a wide variety of ports, and as you can see them coming up on the screen, always remember to consider your own workflow. Which ports do you use on the day-to-day, and make your decision based on those parameters. Regarding the on-the-go capabilities of the Acer Nitro 5, you will be able to get roughly 11 hours of web browsing battery life at 150 nits of brightness, which is quite incredible for a gaming laptop, I must say. Now, during design and video editing, you can expect less battery life, but still roughly 6 to 7 hours at 150 nits of brightness. This is all possible with the Nitro 5's 80 watt-hour battery. As I pull open the lid of this laptop, which can be easily done with one hand and has a little bit of screen flex in the middle of the screen, I am greeted by a full HD 15.6-inch display that can reach 60 Hz refresh rate and can reach 250 nits at full brightness. The color accuracy is one area of this laptop that is a disappointment to me personally. The Acer Nitro 5 can reach a color gamut range of 65% sRGB, 49% Adobe RGB, and 49% DCI-P3. But if you're considering this laptop for video editing and you still want great color accuracy, consider picking up a decently priced color accurate monitor such as the Acer Concept D CM2. I will link that in the description below if you're curious about the pricing and availability. Moving down to the keyboard deck, Acer has placed a spacious full-size keyboard, including a numpad, onto this sleek design. I really like the keys and key press on the keyboard. The material of the keys is a smooth, soft touch material that feels really nice beneath my fingers. This keyboard is very similar to the feel of the Predator Helios 300. The key press is excellent as well. It is slightly longer than your average thin and light laptop, but not as far as, say, a mechanical keyboard. It is very responsive and quiet. The Acer Nitro 5 is also equipped with a great trackpad, one of the most important aspects when considering a laptop's build quality for design and video editing. I have tested laptops in the past where the trackpad feels unstable, and that does not yield to confidence in the build quality. This is a totally different story. It feels secure and well built. It has great touch gestures and click sensitivity. Also, you can note that the trackpad is quiet when using it, not clunky. Here's a sample of the keyboard and trackpad in action on the Acer Nitro 5. This laptop does come with a 720p webcam, so you won't miss out on those crucial virtual meetings if the need arises. If you're enjoying this video and getting some value, gently press down on that like button and let me know in the comment section how you plan on using this laptop. If you want more content like this in the future, then make sure to subscribe and ring the bell so you don't miss out on any of the future videos. Let's get back into it. Now that we have covered all of the aspects of the build and usability, let's dive into the performance section of this video. The Acer Nitro 5 I'm reviewing comes with the Ryzen 5 4600H with 6 cores and 12 threads, the NVIDIA GeForce GTX 1650 with 4 gigs of VRAM, 8 gigs of DDR4 RAM, and 256 gig SSD. Kicking things off, let's take a look at the Geekbench 5 and Cinebench scores. Now let's get into the more practical tests, starting off with Photoshop. I use this test to see how well a laptop can handle the most intense design application inside of Adobe's Design Suite. Depending on how well this laptop does in the Puget System benchmark, I can gauge how well it will be able to handle other programs like InDesign, Illustrator, Affinity Photo, and Design, and more, such as Figma and Sketch. In the comparison chart, the Acer Nitro 5 sat at the middle range of the lower end of the chart. For an estimated $800 laptop that is a powerful 4K video editing machine, this is a solid score that will serve you well as a graphic designer, photo editor, and artist, and more. Now that we know this laptop can handle the Adobe Design Suite, let's check out how it can handle motion design inside of After Effects. The Acer Nitro 5 will struggle in After Effects with 8 gigs of RAM. If you want to use this laptop for After Effects, I would definitely upgrade it to 16 gigs. It is important to note that I ran this specific test with 16 gigs of RAM because the benchmark was unable to run with only 8 gigs of RAM. All in all, it was able to pull off a 710, which is a very respectable score in After Effects. And for the After Effects render test, it is snagging a score of 377, which is a great render time, but compared to some of the other laptops on my chart, it falls below the middle of the road. Note that this test was run with the stock 8 gigs of RAM that the laptop came with from Acer. I've been getting a lot of great feedback from the 3D modeling benchmarks. I have also been getting more requests to add more 3D modeling, architecture, and animation benchmarks. Please note that I am working on it, but it takes time to find reliable test benchmarks. So keep an eye out for those in the future, but for now, here are the 3D modeling benchmarks I have been running. In Autodesk 3ds Max, it scored a 93.5. In Autodesk Maya, a 107.47. In PTC Creo, a 75.83. And in SolidWorks, a 55.66. Due to the lower VRAM and CUDA cores of the GTX 1650, this is not the best 3D modeling laptop, but it is capable for sure. The Blender Classroom benchmark for the Acer Nitro 5 was completed in 9 minutes and 9 seconds using the NVIDIA GTX 1650. Let's get into the good stuff. It is time to check out how well this laptop can handle editing and exporting while working in a 4K project. First, I'm going to start off with a playback test. For this test, I'm going to use a 9-minute 4K clip, add some motion graphics, and then play it back in the timeline at full quality. This full clip contains 16,177 frames in total, with 7,240 of those being motion graphics. During this test, the Acer Nitro 5 saw drop frame rates as follows. For full quality, 3,150 drop frames. For half quality, 27 drop frames. And for fourth quality, 0 dropped frames. I was running this test with only Premiere Pro open, so I will say if you start multitasking on your laptop while editing, you may experience more drop frames at full quality, but you can easily drop it down to half or fourth quality to keep your editing experience smooth. To render out the 7,240 frames of motion design in that project took 5 minutes and 37 seconds, which is a great time for the Ryzen 5 4600H and GTX 1650 equipped laptop. Moving on to the 4K export test, I'm going to take a 9-minute 4K clip, place it into Premiere Pro and DaVinci Resolve using the free version of DaVinci Resolve, then export it out at 1080p and 4K YouTube settings. In Premiere Pro 4K to 4K, it took 4 minutes and 28 seconds. Premiere Pro 4K to 1080p, it took 3 minutes and 54 seconds. For DaVinci Resolve 4K to 4K, the free edition, it took 13 minutes and 22 seconds. And DaVinci Resolve 4K to 1080p, it took 7 minutes and 5 seconds. Earlier, we took a look at the thermals of the Acer Nitro 5, but no review would be complete without checking into the noise and component usage that this laptop produces while running these programs and benchmarks. At idle, there was no fan noise, while web browsing 37 decibels, during the Photoshop benchmark 42 to 49 decibels, Premiere Pro 4K to 4K export 48 decibels, and DaVinci Resolve 4K to 4K was 55 decibels. And now for the component usage during some of the tests. If you're looking for a Ryzen 5 laptop well under $1,000 that can handle itself during 4K video editing, After Effects with 16 gigs of RAM, of course, easily dominates in the most common design applications while remaining cool and quiet during the benchmark test, oh, and don't forget about those 3D modeling scores, well then I would highly consider picking up the Acer Nitro 5. If you're curious about the exact pricing or availability of the Acer Nitro 5, you can head down in the description below and click that link. Now, if you do make a purchase with that link, we'll get a small commission, but at no extra cost to you, and that's what keeps this channel alive and the helpful content coming your way. If you want more videos about the Acer Nitro 5, you can click or tap the screen over here. Otherwise, keep editing, keep designing, keep creating. I'm Benji Kaiser, and I'll see you here in the next video.